This is Shahrukh Mirza. I'm the Regional Head HR Consultancy for People Perfect Worldwide. Uh, with me today is Kabira Bhatporia, Head of HR, Middle East, Africa, and Turkey for JLL, Jones Lang LaSalle, uh, real estate management, investment, consultancy, and development firm with a global presence of more than 130,000 employees and 80 to 90 offices worldwide. So it's a really pleasure to have you with us today, Kabira. We're actually looking at a very interesting subject matter today for our webinar, which is the most spoken about these days, evolving role of HR in 2025 and beyond, with a particular focus on AI. Without any further ado, let's begin.
Sure.
My first question to you, Kabir, would be what role will automation and AI play in the various processes of HR, such as recruitment, performance management, learning and development, employee engagement, for example? And let me just ask the second part to that as well. What impact will AI have on how HR embraces this technological evolution that we're in?
Yeah. So thanks, Shahrukh, for the introduction and for this question. I'm sure this is not the first time you're having a conversation on AI. It's been in the conversation, and as we call it, it's a buzzword which is going around. If you don't mind, I would like to answer from the second part first and then move into the first one. So how would HR embrace, and what happens if we don't embrace? If you ask me, it's a very simple thing. As you and I both have been seasoned HR professionals, we have seen evolution of not only HR but companies who, if they do not embrace the change, they have lagged behind. Either they have not been existing anymore, or they have eventually, deteriorated as a company. HR is the same thing. HR is a strong partner who drives the business, who supports the business to thrive, right?
Yes, indeed.
So if we do not embrace whatever the new technology is, we will be making our firm lag behind, and we probably will not be doing service to the organization. So that's how I would see the core importance of HR playing a role in AI. Now, coming to your first question, where can AI be implemented? Of course, what AI brings in, and everyone knows, so it's not a new thing which I'm talking about, but it is probably more factual, because then you're able to give data, and this data allows us to then probably remove some biases from whatever decisions we are making. It brings in efficiency. You do not need to spend time in mundane activities and use that time of your HR colleagues in much more strategic or much more creative work, which is another way of looking at it. HR can be used at different areas of HR, right? Whether it is recruitment, whether it is performance management, whether it is learning and development, whether it's attrition, whether it's employee engagement. All these areas of work eventually gives us some solid information which helps us to make some informed decision and help our businesses to grow and strive.
Certainly, I think that's a very wholesome perspective that you've just shared with us. Kabira, so let's take it further. How will HR leverage, the data-driven and predictive analytics, let's say, to make informed decisions about workforce management, let's say, employee engagement, performance management, and other HR matters? And what I'm saying is, how would we move with AI beyond just traditional metrics?
So again, AI has given a whole new way of dissecting information as we want, right? If I take a simple example of employee engagement, it allows us to look through a deep dive as to what's the core root cause of person leaving, or why is the engagement not high, or what are the factors. And that sort of an understanding comes through this high-tech AI technology, which allows us. Now, I want to be, while data is very important, Data helps us to make an informed decision. I want to talk about something is high tech is good, but you cannot let go the human touch. So you
Yes,
can
of
pick the
course.
data and you can talk about the data. Just if you take the data and just talk about it, it may not land well. You have to bring in your expertise, your human understanding, your people understanding, and add to it when you tell a story with the data. But it becomes solid if you have a right data and you use your human touch.
So, indirectly, what you're also telling us is that we have to train our AI tool to become more human.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, AI probably it's a lot of times I've used it personally as well, and you can really talk to the and it sometimes makes you scared that as it looks like you're talking to someone
Yes,
out there. Having said that, we cannot forget that AI at the end of the day is a tool. It's only pulling data what you have fed in. So it's again what you feed in is what you're getting. Hence, it's also important to have the pulse check, which you can do it as an HR professional by building relation with your stakeholders. Listening is such an important part of your HR role, right?
sure.
And all that with the data gives you a little more holistic and informed information. So I wouldn't negate the points that you let go your human elements, which are so important for any HR role.
Great. So, let's go to another question. In regards to AI, how will HR emphasize the importance of soft skills, such as critical thinking, problem solving, communications, etc., which are now becoming increasingly crucial, let's say, in the AI powered workspace?
True. So again, back to my earlier point, as AI is, we are getting a lot of support through AI. We definitely need to upskill, and as you rightly said, we need to upskill our HR colleagues as well. Right now, why we need to upskill them is so that they do not get complacent or do not think that AI is the only way of pulling the data and sharing it. There is still that element of critical thinking, of having a right communication. And the main
Yes.
important part, AI could be considered more very intelligent in many ways. You still have the emotional quotient, which is such an important thing which is required. And that only comes with a human touch. So upskilling your colleagues as HR professionals in all these things, what you are talking about, and making them much more emotionally um, uh, stronger in understanding what and how needs to be applied. The beauty of AI is you've now got a variety of menu which you can pick and choose what you want to do with it, with the data what they give you. But how you use it and how you bring it to the table to the management or to your business leaders is very important. And that comes with your understanding and your upskilling on critical thinking, communication, emotional intelligence, and all those things.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Training and development for AI tools would be a very critical element, like you said,
Abs-
for
Absolutely.
organizational alignment with individual goals and targets. Let's take it to that level, if we will. And what I'm trying to say is align the top-down organizational
Correct.
strategy
Correct.
using the.
Can I add something to this?
Oh, please, yes.
It's also very important not to forget about your um, security and confidentiality of information of our employees, right? So AI is a tool. Yes, it's a great tool. Use it, but a lot of things as HR, we are their confidant. We hold a lot of personal information
Yes.
because of the role we play in. But we cannot be negligent about using AI, of dumping the data there, which is someone's private data. So again, having that intellect is very important as an HR colleague versus just using AI tool. AI tool is great, but these are the elements which we cannot. I don't think that goes away anytime soon.
Are you saying we're going to have an emotionally intelligent AI very soon?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say something which I have no. I mean, things have been moving in such a fast pace that things
Yes.
can come in. And okay, happy to learn, happy to understand what is new thing. But confidential information, being ethical about all that plays a very important role while you're using the AI tools.
Certainly, certainly. Yes. Let's talk about the organizational culture as well. What organizational cultural elements would constitute a healthy, growth-oriented culture that leads to, let's say, employee wellness, career growth, performance, and inevitably long-term engagement?
Yeah. So, I mean, all of us have this thing, right? We want to retain our talent. We want them to grow within our organization. We want them to be as strong ambassadors who and make this our organization as employer of choice. That's the ultimate thing, right? We all look forward to.
Indeed.
I think when an individual joins an organization, I don't think culture is written across the office, right? You don't write culture. It's the feeling you have.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
walk in,
sorry to interject, but you could write core values on walls. Of
you
course,
can write core values, but unless you see them being demonstrated, it doesn't touch you, right? You
yeah,
can
yeah,
put everything on the wall, but it is so the way I always feel, and that's the way we do our onboarding of our employees as well, is the
yes.
employee experience.
Hmm.
The time when they land to our organization, they're already coming with a lot of anxiety, thinking whether they've made a right decision or not, should they have not made this. It's already a big jump for them. How can you drive a right culture? Is creating that environment, and that environment comes with the feel and touch, with the experience. How do
Yes.
you make them feel? How do you take them around? How do you make them settled? How do you give them, how do you invest in them in the first 30 days in terms of giving them that support to land well into the organization? So that's one part of the culture which I was wanting to bring. So what I'm trying to bring to here is that culture is something which cannot be spoken about. It's more about demonstrating it. So in our organization, we always talk about our values and we talk about our leadership behavior. Again, why we talk about this is because that's what is led and demonstrated from the top in form of action, behavior, how they lead their conversations with their colleagues, how they manage performance management, how they show them career pathing, how does, even when a person is leaving the organization, we treat them in a way where they become our extended family, and we have alumni sessions where they come back and they talk to us and we share knowledge with them. So it's all about driving from the top, creating that environment which makes a safety net for individuals to feel comfortable, but at the same time accountable. It's very important that
Yes,
we are
yes, of
not
course.
only, you have to be accountable to drive and make a productive, a workspace. But to be productive and have a safety net allows you to also be creative thinker and think outside the box, which potentially can bring in great ideas, and that's how the business can grow and bring in more engagement and efficiency. So that's the way I would look at culture.
Right, right. I think Kabira, if I recall, I think Professor Naomi Stanford, in her book about culture and organizational culture, once said that the culture of an organization is the culture of its owner or CEO. Taking that into view, how would we bring it down from the top, if you will?
Yeah, true. And that's exactly why I spoke about leadership behaviors. So, what, as an organization, what we have moved away from is just looking at as job descriptions of individuals. We've started talking about personas. Personas is much more wider.
Hmm.
And also, when we talk about culture driven from the top, from the CEO or from the management or from the global, the way we look at it is that it's important that they understand it, and they feel it, right? It has to come passionately from them. It is not a tick box exercise. It is not about just having it in their performance, in their key goals or KPIs what they have. It's
Yes,
more
indeed.
about actually implementing through their demonstration, accountability, recognition. How do you drive that culture of recognition? Have you drive, right? How do you make people feel that they are empowered to do something? And I guess that comes from the top. And to your example, if the CEO has that sort of ability of keeping an open door policy, first name conversation, accessibility, empowering, and recognizing, that I guess brings in that sort of a culture, in my opinion.
Great. I think we've touched upon in a very short time some significant areas within the HR domain and how HR has evolved from, well, if you go way back a couple of decades, more than that, from a sort of an administrative personnel management type function to becoming a strategic partner in more recent times, and of course now an enabler in current definition. So it's really found its place on the table with the rest of the business.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, yeah. So how do you see HR going forward? In the future, 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I think you really summed it up well in terms of taking the journey from where it was and where we are. Um, I guess companies have started realizing the value of employee and how the people strategy is very, very important versus just, I mean, many our organization does not have any product. We sell services, so people is a core pillar for us. But
Yes.
in many organizations where they have product as well, they've realized that it is the people who are driving it and who are key for it. The moment organizations realize that people is the most important thing, what
Yes.
happens is then the HR starts getting the importance to be on the table. And when HR gets that empowerment to be on the table, these are the tools which we need to use to showcase how we can be their business partners or the strategic partners versus just being admin or paper pushers, right? And we can bring in a lot. Even during COVID time, for instance, if you recall, it was very uncertain. But we as HR played a big role to help the organizations to navigate through those uncertainty. So I guess that's where the credibility is starting to build in terms of understanding how important HR role is.
Yes. I think nicely summarized by you. Certainly, I think HR is just all over the limelight as of late. I can tell you, and I'm really pleased to be part of this fraternity as well because I've witnessed the journey, and I think AI once again would certainly play a key role. Leadership from the very top would play a key role in keeping up with the times and making sure that we do our needful bit from the HR perspective to develop people's careers and put them on a fast professional track where they can actually see and foresee, rather, progress in their careers. Well, if we were to sum it up, let me turn it over to you again. What would you like to say in terms of your closing remarks?
Uh, I guess I don't think you and I would have spoken, which could have been something very different to a lot of people's thinking. But what I would sum it up by saying is, while yes, we have to embrace AI and something which we have to be aware of and proactively use it as a tool wherever in whichever part of our HR we can. But I don't think we can let go our emotional quotient, which is very important, and we have to be there, mixing the two things in the right way to bring out the best decisions or the recommendations which we have to give to the business. So it's a balance of AI plus the human touch, which I would say is very important in going forward as we move along into 2025 and beyond.
Wonderful. Kabira, it's been a very thought-provoking and informative webinar, and we will be sharing this with the HR fraternity and online platforms. I really appreciate very much your time on behalf of people worldwide, and we look forward to connecting with you again soon on another important HR subject area.
Absolutely, my pleasure, and I thank you for organizing this. As we spoke earlier, it's something which, as seasoned professionals like us, we tend to talk about it, and probably something, not everything, at least something, someone will resonate and take it from there. So hopefully that benefits someone.
I'm sure it will. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Wish you the same. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.